It all started with washing my hands. I needed everything to be clean. And I mean everything. Not only my clothes, but my conscience as well. So I put on my vest, a sleeveless symbol of hope. The kind of hope we all need in times like these. The kind of hope that spreads like a virus. A virus that opens its doors to anyone and everyone. All I needed were some squirt bottles and disinfectant. The only place left to clean was everywhere else.
Hello, good evening. I hope you can appreciate how creative our staff can be. I want to welcome you to Taste and See. Thanks for coming to this field. We'll tell you more about that later. We're so glad you're here. I'm Alan Hamilton. I'm the president at Clark County Food Bank.
And I'm Brett Bryant, chairman of the board for Clark County Food Bank. We're delighted you chose tonight to be with us. There's a lot of options you have, and you chose us. We're grateful. Tonight we want to show you some color inside of the Clark County Food Bank. There's no better way to do that than to tell you some stories, and so I think you're going to like the stories we tell you tonight.
We recorded this earlier this week. The smoke is here. I hope by now the smoke is gone. Taste and See is a really important event for us. It's been our biggest fundraiser every year since we opened the food bank many years ago, except tonight's different. Tonight it's not going to be a fundraiser at all. It's really just a chance to tell you about all that has been happening over the last 6 months here in our community.
I mentioned earlier that we want to show you the inside of the Clark County Food Bank. Taste and See is a event that we've had for many years now, and it really does give you an inside look at what's going on in the food bank. The board debates every year whether we should move the Taste and See event outside of the food bank warehouse, but we've decided to never do that. Why? Because you get to see cans of food, you get to see the racks, you get to see what goes on inside the food bank. We wish you could this year, you can't. We've had to pivot in a lot of different areas because of this COVID virus, and one of those is that we now do drive-up food distribution. We've added retirement centers that didn't have food, and that has meant that the staff has really had to adapt and change. I can't be prouder of this staff, and I know that if you saw what I see, you would feel the same way. So as an attendee tonight, sit a little taller because you're making a difference, and if you run into one of our staff, give them an appropriately socially distanced affirmation. Thank you, and I know you'll enjoy the rest of the evening.
Well, hello there. I want to say welcome to 2020 Taste and See. We're so glad that you are here. We are actually live right now, and we are in the warehouse of Clark County Food Bank. You are not, and I wish you were. I wish you were here with us. That's where we'll be next year. It's where we've been every year. But I'm so glad you're able to join us in the comfort of your own home, or perhaps someone invited you into their home as a guest. And so look at that person, say thank you to them right now for inviting you to be part of Taste and See 2020. We're just so thrilled to have you here. Everything may not work perfectly tonight. It's different for us to do this. And so we have a phone number for you to call or text. I'm just going to put it on the screen right now. And if you have any problems tonight, text that number or call that number and let us know what is not working, and we'll see if we can get it working for you. But I think everything's going to be just fine. What we're going to do tonight is tell you some stories of what's been happening over the last 6 months. We're very excited about it. It's been a very, very difficult time, a hard time, I'm sure, for you. It's been a difficult time here as well, but one where there are lots of good things that have happened. And then we're going to ask you to participate a little bit. We want to hear what motivates you. So I'm going to give you a little preview to that. we're going to build what we called sort of a values word cloud. It's the idea where we want to ask you the question, what's your reason? What drives your desire to help the hungry? And so all you have to do as you're kind of thinking about that throughout this evening is pick a word on the screen or one of your own words that represents your reason that you want to help hungry people in our community. And then just text that one word to that number there at the bottom, and then we'll use that, kind of collate them all together and build a picture of the values that represent you, our leaders in our community that care so much for the people who are hungry. So I just invite you to be a part of that. Well, when we look back at the last 6 months, like I said, so much has changed. Lots of things are different. I know in your world they're different, and it's been probably very hard for many of you. For us, in the life of the food bank, how we got food changed, the sources of it. We couldn't find it at first. And then how we managed it inside the food bank, how we sorted it, because everything changed with volunteers in our structures. And then, of course, how we distributed that food and how we gave it away to the people who need it. All of that had to be different, too. And we're going to show you that in a whole bunch of videos. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to help you see the stories of the lives of people. So enjoy this night. It's going to be less than an hour. I think you're really going to like it. And we're going to start with food. This is Brett. He is our warehouse manager. And thanks for doing that. And what do you have for us on the food front, Brett?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Like Alan said, we are so thankful that you're here joining us. I put together a quick video showing kind of all the changes that happened in the warehouse when COVID first hit. When COVID-19 first started impacting our lives, we saw grocery stores have huge shortages. We went to the grocery store and found that they didn't have toilet paper, canned goods, and other pantry staples that we were used to seeing all the time. We had the same thing happen here at the food bank as well. Our pantries wanted to stock up their pantry shelves, and their clients were coming to their pantries in huge numbers to make sure that they were prepared for what was coming ahead. The uncertain times just made people really want to make sure that they were prepared. The challenge that we faced with all this food going out of our warehouse is we also saw that less food was coming into our warehouse. Our grocery store recovery program, where we go out and pick up from local grocery stores, had seen huge declines in the amount of donations, and this is simply because grocery stores didn't have the food, and so they couldn't donate food to us. When we saw this happen, we realized that we needed to turn to food purchasing. We realized that we had a huge need in the community, and we didn't have the donation streams currently to meet that need. Unfortunately, we weren't the only people who had this idea. Across the nation, everybody was looking to purchase food. Even at high prices, we weren't able to find the food that we were hoping to find. This disruption in the food system meant that for a few weeks, we weren't able to get the food that we were looking for. And in those few weeks, we got more and more nervous as our shelves looked emptier and emptier. Thankfully, generous people like the LDS Church stepped in during this time to help and bring thousands of pounds of food, and the community responded to Facebook posts asking for specific things like peanut butter, tuna, and canned soups by dropping off bags full outside our warehouse. One awesome thing through this, though, is that it allowed us to create new and creative partnerships with farms and distributors to get new food into our food streams. Speaking of, I have a big shout out to Carlos at Vancouver Grocery Outlet for responding to the tangible need for food and quickly mobilizing to get us food when other sources were backed up. As our food purchasing increased to accommodate a huge number of people needing assistance, we bought more food than we've ever bought in the history of the food bank. Our friends at Peace Health, the Community Foundation for Southwest Washington, and others quickly responded financially, eliminating funding barriers so we could purchase the food that we needed. In response to the Federal CARES Act, and thanks to the Washington Department of Agriculture, also known as WSDA, the government started the Farmers to Families program to help farmers during COVID-19 and address food insecurity due to unemployment, which was a win-win for everybody. They shipped lots of high-quality food for free to food banks all over the nation, Clark County Food Bank included. At Northwest Harvest, a partner of ours up in Seattle, began sending us pre-boxed food boxes full of shelf-stable items to hand out to our clients, eliminating the need for a sort, repack, and boxing of the food that we received on our end. We have a network of food partners that give us food and other resources that we couldn't do this without. We have local food drives. We have other individuals who are generous with their gardens or think of us while they go grocery store and just give us a couple extra cans that they wouldn't have otherwise purchased. We also have distribution centers and other large food banks that give us weekly shipments of food. We honestly couldn't do the work we do without these partners, and we are so thankful for them. I'm honestly so grateful for the way that the community has responded to this time. None of us were expecting this, and none of us really knew what was going to happen. You guys recognized that there was a need, and you guys stepped up to the plate and filled it. We never ran out of food, and it's because of you. Thank you.
Brent is exactly right. It has been a monstrous task to gather all that food and to bring it into the food bank so that we can get it into homes. And many, many people made that happen. Many of you. How many of you out there, and I can't see, but raise your hand if you volunteered in the last 6 months or really any time over the last several years to help get food to people who need it. I know it's so many of you that have done the great work of helping get food to the folks in our community who desperately need it. It's incredible. So much food. And Emily, this is Emily. She's a director of our programs here at the food bank. What's in one of those food boxes exactly?
Well, actually, I made a video for you.
It's perfect.
As people were figuring out the safest ways to continue to operate, we realized a few issues we were facing. One of them was a decrease in volunteers, as many of them were higher risk categories. Additionally, many of our sites were set up in a shopping style that allows for high-touch surfaces and many hands-on products. To address both of these, many food banks, including ours, decided to move towards pre-boxed boxes to allow for more social distancing and safety for clients and volunteers. So some of the benefits of doing a pre-boxed box is that we can serve a lot of people and a lot of food while keeping everyone safe. It also allows to best care for the community, particularly high-risk populations during COVID. One of our biggest disappointments during this time is that we have way less contact with our clients, which really is not our ultimate goal. We love providing care for and relationships and other resourcing to clients, which has been limited due to the low contact distributions we've been doing. One of the ways we can still create a loving environment is by allowing people to pick their own best foods and what suits their family best. Because we know individuals' needs are different, we've come up with some different types of boxes to serve the various populations. We prioritize the most at-risk populations during this time with specialized food boxes, including seniors, houseless individuals, homebound families, and kids. I'm going to walk you through a couple of the different food boxes we've been distributing. So the first box is for our seniors and homebound individuals. It's mostly pantry staples with some proteins like chunky light tuna, some rice, some black beans, and some peaches. The next box I'm going to show you is what we call our ready-to-eat box. It's best for people who don't have access to cooking facilities. And so all of this can be heated really easily. It's things like peanut butter, some applesauce, soups in a pop-top can, and then some other snacks and goods in here. The third box we've been really excited to give out is primarily produce, and this is called a Farmers to Family box. We've been doing these at all of our mobile distributions. Has a lot of really good produce in here. Right now you're seeing some celery, oranges, onions, there's a bunch of lettuce, some fresh strawberries, cucumbers, and carrots. Lastly, we are going to launch in this empty box right now a kids program. Since students aren't going back to school, we know they have some special needs, and so we'll be building this box out for the next couple months, and it'll have some kid-friendly foods and some games and ways to interact with the kids that are at home learning right now. We are so appreciative of the people who made this possible. Some of the specific partners who helped make this happen really quickly was the Federal Farm to Families Program, Washington State Department of Agriculture, the Governor's Office, and Northwest Harvest. I want to introduce you to our volunteer coordinator, Aubrey.
Well, you may be wondering what happened to our volunteers as restrictions tightened due to COVID. And just like you, I also made a video.
We've gone through lots of changes. When COVID first hit, we saw a sharp decline in volunteers overnight. But then what was awesome is we were quickly overwhelmed with people in the community who wanted to step in and help.
Overall, our volunteer groups are limited to 15 people to maintain safe social distancing in our sorting room, but still enable us to get the work done. Pre-COVID, we would have had groups up to 30 people, so we're now operating at about half the size. To accommodate for this, we now do additional groups every day instead of just a few times a week. Because we aren't able to have our large repack events that happen twice a month with up to 150 people, we added additional Saturday shifts to keep up with the work. Because of COVID restrictions, we switched from sorting bulk amounts of apples or veggies that then go to food pantries to building full food boxes for our pantries. Our afternoons have switched from taking those bulk foods and sorting them into smaller sizes for families a few times a week to packing produce and dairy food boxes for families for safe distribution at our pantries every day. When COVID first hit, we realized we had so many new people to serve, so we started distributing food to people out of our parking lot in a drive-thru twice a week. Our volunteers quickly packed food boxes for the drive-thru, volunteered to load food into the trunks of cars. This was all new for us, and we're so thankful for the volunteers who came along for the ride. We also overnight found ourselves needing the facility to be sanitized multiple times a day to keep our staff, volunteers, and clients safe. Multiple times a day, volunteers would come through and clean all of our surfaces. As a staff, I can say we are so thankful for this.
Thank you so much to our volunteers for being flexible, showing up, staying safe, and working so hard during this critical time.
I mentioned a moment ago our drive-through distributions. This was something brand new for us. It was wacky, it was chaotic, it was kind of crazy, to be honest, but we didn't show you everything. There's a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, it was all those things indeed, but it was really the right thing to do for what our community needed. Fortunately, we were able to borrow a drone, we were able to borrow a lot of cameras, and we were able to put some pictures and some videos so that we can show you one of those drive-through distributions. So watch. When COVID first hit our community, one of the questions we asked first was, how do we get the food to the people who need it? We knew there was great need everywhere, but there was a challenge. Folks were afraid to go to many of our partner agencies. They were afraid to go outside at all. Volunteering was at an all-time low, and yet people needed food. They needed food that was safe in a low-touch, high-safety, high-security environment, and they needed it now. And so we had to come up with a plan. And like other food banks, what we did was develop a drive-through service model. Food's challenging like that. You need it today, and you need it again tomorrow. It's relatively heavy and it can spoil, and so we had to find a way to get the food to the people. We had to do something. And so this drive-through service model worked. We pre-packed boxes. That didn't give clients specific choice as to the food, but it did get them the food that they needed in a quick and safe manner. And so in the spring, the people came. Right after COVID, hundreds on the very first day that we opened up the drive-through food pickup. It was actually a little crazy. We're not experts at traffic management or filing cars through our parking lot to give people food, but we worked at it and we got better at it. We got a lot better at it. We learned how to do the client intake where we get the necessary information from the folks that are getting food. We figured out ways to open their trunks and doors to get the food in the car quickly and safely, and we got the food to the people who needed it. Well, we're a little bit smarter now. We make sure that we never run out of food, and we've done a better job at all the elements of getting this food to people. Families came in car after car after car, lots of kids inside many of the cars. Some people were getting food for just them. Others were bringing it back to households where lots of other people lived as well. And you know, getting food in a drive-through manner, or actually getting food in any manner, can be a humbling experience for people. We work hard to create a dignity environment. And one of the great things that happened in the drive-through relationships that we had was we began to get to know the names of some of the people, some of the repeat clients. And we developed friendships and relationships with them to add an important element of humanity to the distribution. As we look forward to the future, I'm not exactly sure how long this method of distribution will continue to be operative for us. Some of our partner agencies are using drive-through distribution. Some are distributing food in the ways that they always have, and it's working. We desire to get back to a higher relationship-based structure that allows the client to pick the food that they want and empowers them in that process. But for now, doing it in the drive-through methodology in part is the right thing to do. it very much fulfills the first half of our mission to alleviate hunger. And we're doing that for many, many families, seeing hunger like we've never seen it before in our community.
Thanks again for joining us tonight. We're going to take a brief commercial break and we'll be right back.
Use it, don't abuse it. This commercial brought to you by toilet paper.
Hand sanitizer, use often and generously. This commercial is brought to you by hand sanitizer.
No, guys, you're doing it all wrong. This is how you put on a mask.
Oh.
This commercial brought to you by face masks. Wear them right, wear them tight.
Hello, everyone. I am Allison Lauderdale. I'm the education manager here at the food bank. As you all know, our mission at Clark County Food Bank is to alleviate hunger and its root causes. Another way to say that is to provide food for today and help individuals build food security skills for tomorrow. One way we do that second half of our mission is through our education programs, where in a non-COVID world, we teach a variety of in-person, free nutrition, cooking, and gardening classes to kids and adults across the community. We utilize AmeriCorps members to teach these classes, and they're here doing national community service from all around the country. In the spring, we had when having lots of people in small spaces was no longer an option. Every single one of those AmeriCorps members pivoted along with us here at the food bank to support food distribution, food sorting, and other projects that we had for them as volunteers came and went. Two of them in particular headed to Community Kitchen Fruit Valley, one of the food pantries that we operate. And they took the lead, they stayed on, they pressed in, and were really vital to leading that part of that pantry. And so we wanted to make sure that they got the chance to tell the story and for you to see what one of our food pantries looked like during these last few months.
So I'm Brittany, this is Genesis. We're AmeriCorps members with the Clark County Food Bank. So since mid-March when COVID hit, we have been here at the pantry. The pantry went from shopping style to box style. So we, instead of everybody being able to grocery shop, all of our clients, we put things like fruits and sweets and veggies and coffee and anything that we have available to the clients into boxes and distribute them outside for safety reasons.
So back in March, we were doing nutrition education classes, and because of COVID-19, unfortunately, they were canceled, all of them. So our AmeriCorps requirements for hours actually dropped a lot, but I still wanted to work with food, especially at a time like this when people are in need of food. So I am here helping out with this pantry so people can have access to food.
I decided to stay because nutrition education is very important to me, but we can still do a little bit of that here. And I also committed to do my time with the Clark County Food Bank and love it there, and so I wanted to stay and stick around and do all I could to help out during this time.
Something that's really surprising to me at this pantry that I've learned while being here is that we get a big variety of food. We get lots of donations from different stores, grocery stores, the USDA, and a lot of it's actually really good, nutritious food, and I think that's really cool.
One thing that I've really loved about being here during COVID is that I love seeing how close the community of Fruit Valley is. There's a lot of people that will pick up food for their neighbors, and they're all very grateful, and they love coming down here, which I think is a really wonderful experience for both them and I.
Hi, I'm Allie Laskowski, and I'm the event coordinator here at Clark County Food Bank. As we all experienced in March when Governor Inslee instated the stay-at-home order, we were all required to stay in our homes except to go out and get essential items like food. At the food bank, we realized that there were probably a lot of at-risk seniors that didn't have the support system to help get them food during this time when they were required to stay at home. So we started reaching out to low-income senior apartment complexes throughout Clark County to see if they had any seniors that didn't have support and needed food boxes. We started delivering food boxes to them weekly in apartment complexes across Clark County. And shortly after we started that program, we started receiving individual home delivery requests for people who were homebound and didn't have a way to get food. After that, we started receiving requests for houseless individuals for boxes for them specifically. Council for the Homeless began giving out motel vouchers for those who didn't have permanent residence during COVID-19. So we started delivering to motels throughout Clark County as well. We still, to this day, are delivering weekly to senior apartment complexes, individual homes, and motels. I'd love to show you a few of the places we've delivered to during COVID-19. This is Motel 6 in East Vancouver that's been converted into a quarantine and isolation center. I'm here at the Red Lion Inn and Suites. We're here in front of the Best Western in Battleground. We're here at the Econo Lodge in downtown Vancouver. This is the extended stay in East Vancouver. This is the Howard Johnson Inn and Suites. I'm here in front of Mill Creek Senior Estates in Battleground. I'm here at England Manor Apartments. This is Wisteria Manor, a senior apartment complex in East Vancouver. I'm here at Vista Court Senior Apartments. These are Van Vista Apartments. These are the Lewis and Clark Plaza Apartments in downtown Vancouver. We're here in front of Knights of Pythias Retirement Living. We're here in front of the Smith Tower Apartments in downtown Vancouver. I'm here at Kirkland Union Plaza. I'm here at Caples Terrace, which is housing for young adults. I'm here at C-Trans Evergreen Transit Center. Delivering to all of these locations would not be possible without all of the businesses, organizations, and individuals who stepped up and volunteered to help us deliver food boxes. Businesses like C-Tran and Big Al's Movers offered up their vehicles and their employees to help make large apartment deliveries. And organizations like New Heights Church offered up volunteers to come and help deliver to individual homes that were in need of food. C-Tran is still helping us to this day deliver once to twice a week to senior apartment complexes throughout Clark County. We are so thankful for all of the organizations, businesses, and individuals who help make sure that those in Clark County that didn't have access to food got food during COVID-19. I'd like to show you a few of the
My name's Russ Reinecker. My wife Cheryl and I have been involved with the food bank going on 4 years now. We just started with the C-Tran program the beginning of this year as a result of the coronavirus.
One of the things that really stands out to me is that when we deliver food to these people, they all have their doorways decorated with pictures or just tchotchkes, and it's always a good way to learn something about the person you're about to talk to. And so when they open the door, you have something that you can connect with them. And I really enjoy that aspect of it because I think they're very lonely being cooped up because of the virus.
I think it's, for me, I think it's the connection that we have with C-Tran. They've volunteered to send a couple of drivers and a vehicle out here to the warehouse 1 or 2 days a week. And they simply, they'll load up 1 or 2 pallets of boxes and drop them at the apartment complex, and then we just come along behind them and deliver them door to door. We do about 150 a week from what I understand, and it's just the interaction with everybody here at the food bank and with the C-Tran people that are incredible. Look forward to it. We enjoy doing it.
Not to mention the people there, and the point of this all is to bring food to them when they can't get out and get it themselves. And I think that's one of Food Bank's really nice projects that they brought on, because it's so necessary for these people.
Hi, my name is Mindy Harder, and I'm on the board at the Food Bank, and I'm here today with Al Bartley from Big Al's Specialty Mover to hear his story about how he jumped in and helped the food bank when COVID-19 first hit. So Al, thank you for talking with us today, and thank you so much for helping the food bank. Tell us exactly why you did this and how you helped.
I'm always a community-minded kind of person, so when the opportunity arises, I reach out to, I knew you were on the board, I reach out and see what we can do to help out the community during that difficult time.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. And I think you guys were really instrumental in delivering food boxes to senior centers throughout the community.
Yep.
And some schools.
Correct.
During that time.
I have the capacity of the trucks, so during that time, I thought it was a great opportunity for us to help the community out. Was our trucks, put our trucks to use and get our guys to work to help out the community.
That's great. What kind of impactful lessons or impactful moments did you and your team experience while you were serving the community?
I think it was eye-opening for everybody how much the need to help out our elderly during that time, which is not, we don't think about it, but there's always a need to help out, which is the food bank was great opportunity for us to reach out and be able to help and have a hand to help out our senior or whoever needs the help from the food bank.
Great, thank you. Well, we are very appreciative. At the food bank, we say that love travels on food, and this is just another great example of how Big Al's help share love in the community by all that you did to help others out. So thank you so much. We appreciate your help.
Thank you.
We say it all of the time at Clark County Food Bank that volunteers are the heartbeat of the food bank, because it's just true. I know some of our volunteers are at home watching tonight, so hi. I had the opportunity a week ago to sit down with some of our dedicated volunteers who have helped make the last 6 months run smoothly here at the food bank, and I really want you to meet some of them. I'm here with some of our amazing volunteers from different areas of the food bank, here to share a little bit about their experiences volunteering and to tell you what they do.
Hi, I'm Zach Ahanui, and I volunteer in the food distribution and food repack.
Hi, I'm Tracy Johnson. I volunteer in the food distribution and home deliveries. Hi, I'm Demetria Edwards, and I volunteer in food repacks.
Hi, I'm Melody Harris, and I volunteer with the food repacks and home deliveries.
Hi, I'm Jill Carrillo, and I work with C-Tran, coordinating C-Tran's help with the home delivery.
Why do you volunteer with blank? Why do you volunteer with your program?
Well, I had the time available. In my household, volunteerism is a big thing from when I was a baby up until as an adult now. And I had the time available this summer. I'm a teacher, so I had summer off, and I work with the homeless population during the school year. I help run the WHO Overflow Winter Shelter at St. Andrews, and so I'm already involved in this community of people, and I just knew that there was a need, and I had the time available, so that's why I do it.
So I first came to the food bank when we built the building to landscape it, and realized there was a good opportunity to be more plugged in and aware with what all is going on in Vancouver instead of just my own little bubble. And I got to bring my kids in tow, so they've gotten to learn with me, and just realize like we can make a small part in meeting people's needs.
When COVID hit, we were trying to outreach, looking for opportunities to help serve the community. And Clark County Food Bank took us on, and it's been an awesome experience, and serving people we also serve with rides. We're also delivering food to them, and we have a great concern for them not being able to get out and to get food to who needs it. And it's been really great because we've been delivering directly to people where our drivers will go to the places and they'll be like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm helping deliver your food box as well. So it's kind of full circle for us.
I think I volunteer with the Saturday repacks because we need the extra help, and Saturday's an extra day, and if you have the time available, it's a great opportunity to make something happen and keep the wheels moving. I think oftentimes if we can't get the food out and it backs up, this is an opportunity for us to kind of have a proactive approach. It's a lot of fun, it's engaging, and I really enjoy it.
I too was working in the schools, and when we stopped going to school, I had a lot more time on my hands. I have been working volunteering at other places, but I really saw a need when there were a lot of folks that I saw that didn't have the blessings that we have as far as having food on their tables. And so this was a wonderful way to be able to come and see how we can help those that need it. And I've had a wonderful time getting to know the staff and making new friends, and also making acquaintances with the people that I've delivered to.
So, second question. Why don't you tell me about an impactful moment while volunteering at CCFB or out in the community in affiliation with CCFB?
Like I've said before, just the recognition of when we have gone to some of the places to deliver boxes, that there's that recognition of, hey, there's that person that we've been taking to the doctor and that we've been taking to the store who no longer can or no longer has the means to provide that fresh food for themselves. And just a great satisfaction of being able to, my employer participating in that with, and working together like as a team also with everybody at the food bank has been great.
So my COVID volunteer time has been here in the warehouse, but I mean, these guys, the COVID has brought new volunteers. So it's been fun for me because I went from organizations and businesses who came to do some community service time to repack to this brand new group of hodgepodge volunteers. So it was great. It's nice to see new faces and people ready to help out. So that's been fun to see.
Impactful for me just coming into the community and being with Clark County Food Bank, but in the food distribution event, I ran into a family that I have a past with in training their kids in a former career, and to see a direct impact in their lives via what we're doing here is really special.
Also, just the faces on the people when we make the home deliveries, you can just see how grateful they are for it. And I can remember one special man that was having a hard time walking, and he was walking out with a cane. And I had set the box down, and he just was crying and saying thank you so much for you all being there and helping us when we need at this special time.
For me, it was just meeting all the people that were working and volunteering. It was great. We had like our Tuesday, Thursday crew, and we chatted outside, and we would compete as to who could get the cars through the quickest and how many boxes you could carry. And so it kind of became this family, and that was so cool, knowing that I would get to show up 2 days a week and hang out with these people that I really enjoyed for an hour and a half or 2 hours. And then just the customers or the guests coming through. We had a little boy one day deliver us all flowers, you know, a little middle school kid give us all flowers, which was so sweet, and the parents saying thank you, they didn't know what they would do if this wasn't available. And then out in the home deliveries, the same thing. You would just come across people that were so grateful that you knew they couldn't get here because of transportation, and so we were able to bring them the food and the meals that they would need. And we had a man invite us in and show us his museum that was in his house, and just the gratitude of the community of being out there and just meeting some really wonderful people. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Well, now you've heard from our volunteers, ranging from home deliveries to food repacks, to even outside organizations like C-Tran helping us out during this critical time. And these really are the superstars of the food bank. These are the guys that get the work done, the work that needs to be done, and we really could not do it without all of these guys, and so many more. So.
Thank you so much, volunteers. We honestly couldn't do what we do without you. We're going to take one more commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Who knew 20 seconds was so long? This commercial brought to you by hand soap.
Hey class, I'm so glad you made it. Hey, oh, I'm gonna take roll. Corn, I can only see your ear. Banana, it looks like you are muted. Can you unmute yourself? P, are you here? Oh, you're kind of frozen. Okay, class. This commercial is brought to you by Virtual Interactions.
Well, as you know, the food bank has always been about getting food to people who need it, and whatever it takes, we want to do that. And we, of course, work through a very robust network of partner agencies that are doing fabulous work in our community. But when the COVID crisis came, things changed some. People were not coming to get food in the normal ways, and so we had to get closer to many of our clients and did drive-through work. It did home delivery, as we've told you about, and in so much contact with many of the people that get the food, we learned a lot. We were given a lot of stories from people who were impacted. They wrote, they called, and they told us the difference that getting food really made in their lives. We actually want to read some of those stories to you. Some of them are requests for food. Some of them are just letting us know how the food has impacted them. I'm going to start with an email that was sent to us, and this is what it says. Someone wrote, and he says, "A neighbor told me that you are now able to deliver food, bank food, to me as a low-income disabled senior. I am not able to go out for food due to COVID and poor health, and have in the past tried to get food banks with little success and rides in my ability. I live in Clark County in Orchards. What other information can I send you? I'm 73, I don't drive, and I live alone. I'm on Medicare and Medicaid, and I have no family to help." And he says, "Thank you." And of course, we were able to give him food.
This is also an email we received. It says, "Hello, we are seeking a food delivery, please. We are under quarantine due to my flu symptoms, which might be COVID-19. I'm still waiting to find out if I have it. We do not have family or friends in the area to get food for us. We have no diet restrictions. Please leave food outside the door. We really appreciate what you do for us and the community. Thanks so much."
And here's another email. "Hi, I've never done this before, and I'm now reaching out for help. Me and my son are trying to put every penny we have together for rent that's due in 3 days. We are down to 4 top ramen, 6 cans of chili, and a bag of cereal. It breaks my heart to even think about eating because I don't want my son to go without. I don't even know where to start. I barely have any gas. I went from paying all of my bills and keeping a roof over our heads to not having anything at all. If there's any help or any way to have some food brought over, please let me know. Thank you. That one gets me every time.
It's the first time you've read it without crying. Yeah. Someone else wrote, she said, I'm 68 years old, I have no car, and I desperately need food. I have asthma. I use a walker, and I can't ride the bus to the food bank. I live in Hazeldale. I have no family here. Is there any way the food bank can deliver food to me? I wrote the governor, Jay Inslee, and they gave me this email address so I could contact you for help. Please help. Thank you.
Here's another email. My parents are in their mid-80s with dementia and congestive heart failure. They have a limited income. I normally help care for them and pick up their prescriptions and food, but due to a recent setback, I am unable to go to their house, grocery store, or the food bank, which supplements their diet every month and sometimes longer. They have worked hard all their lives to save money to make ends meet, and they're so grateful for any assistance. I'm hoping someone could deliver a box to them. Thank you if you can help. They are very humble and would never ask for assistance, but would be very appreciative if anyone could drop something by. If not, I understand as the demand and the need is so great. As a family, we've always been united through service and helping others. This is a very difficult time for sure.
This one says, I'm hoping that I could possibly get some help with food. I currently live inside of a vehicle. I can't legally drive, and I have no way to get money to take the bus. If you could please help with delivering food. Thank you.
Someone called our receptionist, Dina, and Dina wanted us to hear the story, and so she told us. She said a woman called to thank the people at the food bank who worked to get a food box delivered to her. And it wasn't the food bank, it was some volunteer that delivered that box. She called yesterday, and she was delighted to receive the food. She's paralyzed and doesn't easily leave her home. She hoped this message of gratitude would be delivered to the appropriate people involved, so thank you on her behalf.
Here's one more email that we got. So it says, hi, I have 3 seniors that I care for. None of them have vehicles, and I usually take care of everything for them. But my daughter is a nurse at the Air Force Base and tested positive to the virus, so I have to go test and self-quarantine. These gentlemen are running out of everything, and I live there also, so everyone in the house has potentially been exposed. There are 2 other men that are not seniors but don't have a vehicle, and now they're also supposed to stay in for 14 days. So as you can tell, this is becoming a huge problem for the home. Is there any help for us, at least for food? We also have 1 dog. Please let me know. I hope to hear from you soon.
And this last one was a call that I took while I was answering the phones. So I had a phone call from a rideshare driver with no income after COVID started. She had been driving for hours and making very little money. She felt very unsafe driving strangers, but she wasn't approved for food stamps and so felt like she didn't have any other choice. But in the last month, there were so few people using rideshare at the start. While she was waiting approval for food stamps, and in the meantime, her shelves were bare and she didn't know what to do. She was calling specifically to tell us thank you. Thank you that there were places that she could go for her family to get food during a time where she didn't have income and didn't have another way to get food.
I am extremely happy to say that we did meet all of these needs of everyone that did call in and countless others who we didn't get to share their stories here tonight. But none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the incredible people and businesses that stepped in this time of need to ask us what we needed, and their generosity that just flooded the food bank from this community in the first few months of COVID and still to this day. So we just are so thankful for that, and I made you a video just to tell you a little bit more about these amazing donors that stepped up during this time. Each of us has a different and unique story of what the last 6 months have meant, and yet we're all united by our collective experience of enduring as individuals and as a community. We've all faced canceled events, fears, concern for loved ones, and we've all experienced many unforeseen discomforts and interruptions to our daily life. Just like each of our personal stories, the story of the food bank has been full of unique challenges and surprises, many of which you just heard about. One thing is for certain, the need has never been greater, and it's so much bigger than we could have imagined. But so is the support from this community. It's overwhelming, really. I want to mention just a few that stood out. When we were close to running out of food, both the Community Foundation for Southwest Washington and Peace Health just called us up and said, tell us what you need, and then quickly turned around to meet our food needs financially. The Murdoch Trust skipped their own grant application process and just sent funds over to us. Beach's Restaurant donated 2 employees to help us on the ground when our volunteers had to go home. Good friends like the Hansons, Swigerts, Hickeys, Zidels, and so many more sent money, enabling us to make quick and necessary decisions as the situation evolved. Our friend Nancy bought us a brand new Sprinter van so that we could make deliveries to individuals all over town. Our friends at Zoom Info organized a huge joint donation across multiple businesses to help with COVID relief. There are countless other gifts of money and time that so many of you made to help this community. It's truly remarkable. I don't have the words to adequately express how perfectly each person's timing and expression of generosity has been through all of this, but I can say that it has been life-changing to witness. Our board development chair, Elson Shawn, has a few words to share.
We are incredibly grateful for the outpouring support from individuals and organizations and foundations. Among other things, they have made it possible for the Clark County Food Bank to stretch well beyond our normal operations in order to meet the exponential demand for food security during these very challenging times. Enabling the launch of some 14 pop-up pantries throughout the county, and even making home deliveries to serve our community. Your generosity has helped us to augment the great work of our 43 agency partners.
We are encouraged and propelled by the way this community continues to step in and offer creative help and just be so generous with us. Your generosity is truly an inspiration and source of hope for so many here in Clark County. The outpouring of your love for this community was handed out with each of the roughly 75,000 food boxes that we've been able to give out during COVID-19. Thank you for loving our community so well. It is because of you that we are so hopeful for the future.
Everything that Holly just said there is absolutely true, and in fact, she could have talked for a lot longer about the generosity and the impact that so many of you have had. And have you ever asked yourself why you help? Why do you want to be a part of this? I mean, make no mistake about it. What happens in our community with the Clark County Food Bank is not a staff thing. It's not an organization thing. It's a you thing. It's a people thing. And you're the ones that are doing that. This is your last chance, by the way, to give us that one word. Just text your word to that number at the bottom of the screen there, and just tell us why you do what you do. What's your reason? What drives your desire to help the hungry? We really do want to know. We're going to collect all of that together. It's such an inspiration, I think, to our board, to our staff, but if I can be really honest, I think it's an inspiration to the people who get the food to feel the care, that compassion, that love, that hope, whatever that word is, along the way. It's a beautiful thing to watch from our vantage point. This is Alicia Flintoff. She's our Office Administration Director, and she's going to let you know about another superhero that we have.
Yes, each year at Taste and See, we get to award the Volunteer of the Year Award to someone special. And I'm fortunate enough to work closely with the fabulous volunteer who is getting that award this year. She is a retired CPA who began volunteering at the Clark County Food Bank about 7 years ago, just when I started working here. She volunteers weekly and has put in more than full-time hours through the donation influx we experienced when COVID hit, and while at the same time helping us to implement a new accounting software system. She is as dependable as you would expect an accountant to be, and much more fun than you would expect an accountant to be. Watch as we presented Mary Eaton with the Volunteer of the Year Award.
Volunteer Mary Eaton, on my right, is a key member of that team and is a well-deserved recipient of this year's Clark County Food Bank Volunteer of the Year Award. Yeah.
She's not only volunteered in the office and helped Alicia with many different things, but since joining the Finance Committee has been a tremendous contributor to all of our activities at the Finance Committee, a great thought partner for all of us. But even just stepped it up again this past year as we implemented new accounting software, and it's just done a phenomenal job working alongside Alicia, getting that system up and running, and I can't thank her enough for all the time and effort, because that is a heavy lift to get that work done, and that was on top of obviously an unprecedented year with all the activities around COVID. So just want to add my thanks as well, Mary, and it's well deserved, and we love making you the center of attention.
And I actually do not volunteer for thanks. I do it because it makes me feel good. So thank you for letting me be here.
And hang it on your wall at home proudly.
I would hug you if I was allowed.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's beautiful.
Well, congratulations, Mary. Hey, when we started our program tonight, about a little less than an hour ago, it was Brett Bryant, our board chair, and I in a field. We're going to go back to that field right now. It's magic. We're back in the field. How'd I do that?
Alan just mentioned some magic, and we're hoping for more magic. We are living right now in a time of a lot of smoke. Right now it's hard to breathe, and we're also living in a time of a lot of societal tension. We wish those didn't exist, and we'd like to be able to say poof, they don't. Unfortunately, what it's going to take to address things like that and hunger is a lot of work, a lot of strategy, a lot of resource. And tonight's a night for us just to say thank you for providing ideas and resources and volunteer work. We're standing here in actually what will be an example of that. The field behind me is where a new food bank warehouse is going to be. We hope that that's done in the next 18 months or so. We know that it takes more than one organization, just a few people. It takes a lot of organizations to address some of these what seem to be intractable issues in our society today. Our space is hunger. We hope for the day when the Clark County Food Bank isn't needed. Today it is, and it's provided by you, and we are just very, very grateful. So this is going to be not just a food warehouse, but a place where many organizations can come together and address this issue of hunger in Southwest Washington. We're grateful for all you've done to get us where we are with the current warehouse and also be involved in what's going to be happening here. We're going to lease this property, but it's going to take 7 figures of our own resources to make it happen. You've done that before for us. We know you'll step up again to help us. You have during this COVID virus, and we're grateful that we can count on you going forward. Thank you very much, and good evening.
I appreciate those words that Brett shared, and I'm looking forward to having that field become a building in the next year and a half, a place that will allow us to not just store a little bit more food, but allow us to do some very innovative programs where we can get food to people who need it and do so in a way that allows for sustainability, really empowering the clients that we serve. It's also going to be a space where other nonprofits will come and collaborate, and we can collectively address the real issues in our community. We're thrilled about that. You're going to hear more about that. The food bank over the last 9 years that we've been in the place that I'm standing now has experienced a lot with our partners, with our organization, and certainly as we've shown you tonight as we finish up here with COVID. It's been very challenging, and it's been kind of awesome at the same time to see how the work is getting done. We are doing 3-4 times more food than we were when we started this facility, and we're doing that year after year. We're doing more preventive work, like Allison talked about earlier tonight, to make sure that people who have the need can begin to address some of their own problems and get out of this emergency food crisis that they sometimes find themselves in. We're excited for what the future holds. But like I told you at the beginning, this is not an ask night. There's no form to fill out. There's no credit card slip at your table. I know you folks know how to give, and when the time's right, that'll happen. And we'll let you know more about that in the months ahead. We just want to take this night to say thank you so much for being a part of the last 9 years. Thank you in particular for being a part of the last 6 months. We don't know what the near future holds. We just know it'll be an inspiring place to go together. We want to show you that word cloud that we built with your values, the values that drove your desire to help. This is just the beginning, but I like a lot of these words that I'm reading now as well with you. Empathy and gratitude, community, compassion, faith, responsibility, love, joy, and hope. These are the words that drive why we do what we do. We'll send you this graphic in the next few days so that you can share and learn from it and find your word there as well. Tonight, I really just want to say thank you so much. I look forward to the future together with you, and we're very grateful that you are part of this evening with us.
And before we go tonight, I just want to give a huge thank you to our Taste and See committee for helping us put on this virtual event. We really couldn't have done it without you. Amy Christman, Demetria Edwards, Elson Strawn, Jennifer Small, Joe Paletto, Mindy Harder, Patty Bryant, Sandy Hammond, Scott Hatari, and Sherry Faulkner. Thanks for all the work that you put into this. It's a very different type of event this year, and this is our first time doing it. So we just really appreciate the expertise that they brought and just the passion that they brought to make sure that Taste and See still happened tonight. So also thanks to each of you for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed your food. I hope you got to have some good conversations, that they continue after this is done, that you'll keep drinking wine, keep eating food, and I hope that you learned just a little bit more about the food bank and what we're doing here tonight. So
I also want to say thank you, Holly, to you and Allie and Mariah and lots of other people, but in particular, the great work you did to make tonight happen. Thank you so much. It was fabulous.
Thanks.
You did great. Yeah, and you're going to be a great mom, too. Just, yeah.
Thanks. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks for making such a huge impact here in our community. Have a great rest of your
And we'll see you next year here. We're going to be here next year. It's decided. All right. Thank you so much.
Good night.